Oh, that's where the dog is buried.
What is there something I don't know about Russian gardens?
Друзья, всем привет, с вами репетитор Алекс, возвращаюсь после небольшого отдыха, и новую главу на этом канале мы открываем с эксперимента. Сегодня на моем канале гость, его зовут Мартин, он из Лондона, англичанин. Мы с ним сегодня пообщаемся и поиграем в небольшую игру. Я буду называть ему выражения из русского языка, а его задачей будет угадать, в каких ситуациях мы это используем, что это вообще значит, и взамен рассказать о том, что он бы использовал в такой же ситуации, но на английском. Еще раз повторюсь, что это эксперимент, и каждый эксперимент очень нуждается в обратной связи. Поэтому я буду смотреть на вашу активность и в зависимости от нее буду делать подобный контент. Вообще я спросил у него целых 10 выражений, но именно в этом видео будет первая часть. Я спрошу только 4. Если вам видео понравится, реакция будет позитивной, то я буду работать над следующей частью и выпущу ее довольно скоро. Приятного вам просмотра. Actually, what about
Yeah.
you? How's it going?
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Is it your day off? Why aren't you at work?
So it's my working from home day, and so if someone's sick, I can sometimes get called in. So that was the worry.
Oh, but there are the days when you have to be there, right?
Yes.
Martin, it's really a big pleasure to have you here as the first guest on my channel ever.
Oh, right. Wow.
Because I started doing this channel on YouTube just a few months ago.
Okay.
So my subscribers probably don't know who you are. So would you please introduce yourself to them?
I always have difficulty with this question, actually. Who are you? This should be an easy question, but for some reason I have difficulty with it. So I suppose I'll start with, I am an English teacher. I started teaching English in Italy, working in traditional English schools. Then I started a podcast on the side, and that grew. And now I do lots of things with the podcast. I have lots of online courses. Helping people with listening is one of my main things. Helping people understand what I call jungle English, when people talk really quickly and mumble their words. And also helping people with vocabulary, helping people remember vocabulary, because I always think how when you learn new vocabulary, it's normally advanced vocabulary which isn't actually used that often. So you can spend time learning it, but then you don't hear it, so you forget it. So I've created things where I repeat it constantly in stories, so then you can remember it naturally, because I think vocabulary is actually a thing that we remember naturally. When we're kids, you just hear it and you remember it. I can't even remember what the question was now. So yes, and I make lots of podcasts and sometimes Instagram videos as well.
Yeah, but I've noticed that you're not a big fan of short content, right? I just seen it on your stories, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan generally of walking around like that with a camera in my phone, but I sort of recently come to the realization that it's a great way to find new people and to help new people, because I believe I can help them. So I found a system that works for me of making quite short videos, because when you make the really like jazzy videos and all singing and dancing with effects, it takes so long. So I think I've found a way now of making quite short videos that don't take up all my time, because it can, as I'm sure you know, it can be like a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just making videos.
Yeah. It's not only recording the video. It's also
absolutely.
Thinking,
well, even just the idea of like scripting it, and then, like you said, cutting, editing. Like even when you record, at times in the past, I had like a green screen and I had to set that up, and I was like changing clothes, and it's like, oh god, this is too much.
Right. And Martin, about the flag behind your back, why is it rock and roll English, your channel? Could you explain?
Good question. Lots of people think that it's about rock and roll. It's definitely not. If I'm being totally honest, there's actually one moment which kind of was a like aha moment for me. When I was living in Italy. My friend, who is a dentist, we were in a pub and someone said, "Oh, you're a dentist," and he said, "Yeah, I'm a rock and roll dentist." Like just obviously as a joke, and I thought, oh, that sounded good. And basically I just thought, well, that sounds like a good name for a podcast. But since then I've taken it a bit further and said how it's like, because in the podcast we talk about things which maybe are a bit taboo sometimes, and it's like the rock and roll spirit of don't care what other people think, just be yourself kind of thing. So yeah, so I've sort of just gone along with that, really.
And it also works with some of the expressions you have, right? In English, you rock, or a rock star isn't only about musicians, right? Rock star is someone who's great, or
yeah, it's, well, I mean, generally, like the meaning comes from rock and roll stuff,
right? Listen, I think we need to warn my subscribers that we tried making some content. We were expecting this to be viral, although it didn't go viral. I think everyone and everything deserves the second chance, right? Second shot.
Absolutely.
So let's just try this. So rock and roll English is connected to the expression of yours in English, rock or rock and roll, something rock star. The rule of this video, of this game, is pretty much the same that we did before. It's do you actually remember what we did before?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I tell you the Russian expression, the expression from the Russian language, not a Russian expression, because the Russian language is more than just Russia, right? It's many countries. So the thing is, you try to guess what it means and when we use it, and then in exchange you tell me what you would use in the same situation as an English native speaker, right? So we've got 7 good ones again, and as it's rock and roll English, where you come from, is 3 bad ones. Okay. Just bad ones. Okay, as always. But I promise it's not gonna be something like, but every time, listen, I talk about our first collaboration, we discuss it with some of my students, some of my friends, and I always tell them, if there's grass on the wicket. Lamar, you told me, let's play cricket.
I forgot I told you that, yeah.
Yeah, you did. You did. So are you ready to begin with the first one?
Born ready.
All right. So the first Russian expression is, well, it sounds like a stone to my garden.
A stone to my garden. It's the word "to" which kind of throws me a bit.
Yeah.
If it was like a stone in my garden, but a stone to my garden. Okay, maybe something like very welcome. Like stones are welcome in my garden. And so, like, if you're said, do you want some cake? Of course, it's like a stone to my garden. So, like, the cake is welcome in my house, like a stone is welcome in my garden.
So you think a stone in the garden is something natural and really welcomed?
I mean, I can think of more things that are welcomed in the garden, but well, if in the UK, if someone has a garden, stones. You find some stones in there. In fact, I've got loads of stones in my garden. It's actually a bit of a problem because my young son tries to eat them.
Oh.
Yeah, but because they're the very small stones. So yeah, if it's for me, I don't want any more stones in my garden. But that would be my interpretation.
All right, but listen, this is a tricky one because in Russian we have the word огород. So огород is not actually a garden. This is a place where you grow only vegetables. So no fruit, only vegetables. But the translator says that it's a garden anyway in English. But we have the garden, which is sad in Russian, sad.
Like the garden of your house.
Yeah. But another one is also garden, according to English. So a stone to my garden. I can give you a hint, actually. Well, first of all, you're wrong. That was a bad guess. This is a negative thing. That is.
Oh, it's a negative thing.
Yeah, that is my hint for you.
Right. It could be the complete opposite of what I said.
Not
Like
quite.
stones are not welcome in my garden.
Well, it's
So,
closer.
did you say it's like a stone to my garden?
No, a
And
stone. We would
okay,
say,
and
"Oh, this is a stone to my garden."
right,
Oh, you would think
and
about this like
and
this.
you said it's for the other garden of like growing vegetables. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't
right,
really make sense. There's no difference.
right. It's something that stops you growing, maybe because something's trying to grow in the garden and the stones on top of it.
Hmm. Nah, the one with the welcoming was closer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I said, maybe the opposite of, but you didn't seem so keen on that one. Of the opposite of, so it's not welcome. You are not welcome.
Yeah.
Like stones are not welcome in my garden, and
And what
it's a
situation would
bad
that
thing.
be?
So let's say someone brings you. I'm just thinking of the cake example again. Someone brings you some cake, and someone brings you a gluten cake, and you cannot eat gluten. So you say it's a stone to my garden. Like this cannot enter. So
It's not
no,
appropriate, not for me, something
yeah,
like this.
no, not appreciated.
Mm.
If I know you are gluten intolerant, and I bring you a cake made
Yeah,
and it has
anyway.
gluten in it,
Yeah.
I don't think you
Mm.
would be particularly pleased, and especially if I knew that, and so maybe you would say to me, "It's a stone to my garden."
Okay, another wrong guess.
Okay,
So once you say I give up, I tell you the right answer.
okay, I give up. I give
Okay,
up.
the first one is it's a hint that could be delicate or straightforward in a situation when someone blames you for doing or not doing something. Maybe a
Okay,
bad
so
explanation, but
okay, I understand the explanation. I just can't see the kind of connection between the stone and the garden.
yeah, so maybe I'll give you the situation. So we're having a party, let's say, and
Okay.
you were told to buy whiskey, let's say,
Hmm.
but you ran out of time and you couldn't make it, and now the party is very boring, and someone says, "Yeah, this wouldn't be so boring if someone had bought some whiskey." And well, this is a pretty straightforward hint, right? It's about you. Everyone understands it's about you. So you would think, oh, this is a stone to my garden. Means it's about me. He's talking about me. He blames me for doing this. But
Hmm.
yeah,
See, I perfectly understand the explanation, but I still can't see the connection
the
between the
connection.
stone and the garden of how that. What is there something I don't know about Russian gardens?
Well, it usually happens in the countryside where people have their houses
Yeah.
and their garden for vegetables. So I think in a particular time of the season, uh, different objects like stones are not welcomed, really. They're not good for the garden or something like this. I don't know. I've
Okay.
never had this one. Well, my parents did. So maybe they would understand this. They would, but we say this, and every
It's
once in a
common.
while, yeah, I hear
Yeah.
this. I didn't include anything that I don't hear at all. So
Hmm.
sometimes I hear this, a stone to my garden. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What you would use in a situation like this when someone blames you and you would, oh, it's about me.
So in fact, so it's the person that didn't bring the whiskey would say it's a stone. He would say that, or she.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he could say,
that's a tough one. I'm like, you blame someone. I honestly don't think there is one in English for that. But in fact, there most probably is, but I
mm-hmm,
cannot think of like an actual expression.
yeah, yeah.
I just think like, are you talking about me? Is my fault? No.
Well, I've had more time to prepare, so no one's gonna blame you. There's no stone to your garden for this. So you have to say right now, right here, right? Well, the thing
That would
is,
be a good time to say there's no stone to my garden.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let me just quickly. Let's have a look, see what if I can get any. Not really. Well, the one that I come up, it's more of an American one. Is like, well, I don't think it wouldn't be a match anyway. But oh, sorry, my bad. But it's not really the same because with that one, it's no.
And I've never met this, so I was thinking maybe there is something in the UK but I never actually met it.
Okay. I think we can safely say then. So that's you, me, and Chat GPT cannot find an answer. So I think there is no one.
Okay, coming to the next one. Well, the second Russian expression is neither fish nor meat.
I think this actually exists in Italian. I think. Is this like? So in fact, I was talking to my wife recently, and I said so I lived in Italy for a long time, and now she's Italian, so she's living in the UK. So now she's the foreigner. I was the foreigner. Now she is the foreigner. And we were mentioning, she was saying how sometimes she doesn't feel at home here, and I said I know the feeling because I was in Italy, and I was very integrated, but you never feel like you're one of them. But now when I'm in the UK, I also feel like a foreigner because I lived abroad for so long, and so now I feel like a foreigner here, like I don't belong, and I always feel like a foreigner in Italy where I don't belong. So I'm not fish or not meat. Like, so I'm not Italian, I'm not English. Like, I'm not this, I'm not that.
Well, this is interesting. Not to belong to any place at the same time. Yeah.
Well, or it could just be something. I mean, that would just be an example of when maybe you could use it, but something else of like, I wanted to. I'm trying to think of another example. Okay, so let's say I invite you. This happens to us a lot now. In Italy, you had very strict like meal times, sort of like for any time between like 1 to 2 really was lunch, and then any time from like 8 o'clock onwards was dinner. But in England, people invite you maybe to go to their house to have some food, and it will be like 3 o'clock. And you say, well, it's not lunch, it's not dinner, it's not fish or it's not meat. Just to say it's neither of the things, basically. Would that be right?
So your guess is
to say it's neither of it's
of two options.
It's neither of these. Yeah. Well, yeah, of two options, I suppose. Yeah.
Or just feeling
of
unsure
the things that you want
about the identity or the true nature of things, something like this. Yeah, your guesses.
Well, yeah, just to say it's nothing really. It's not this, it's not that. It's nothing. Like you're 3 o'clock. Someone comes to my house at 3 o'clock. You're like, well, it's not lunch, it's not dinner. What is this?
My hint is it describes a person or a thing, not the process, not the situation. It describes either a person or a thing.
See, again, I would still. The one which I mentioned doesn't exist in English. I just heard that in Italian. It's not fish or not meat, which could also be adaptable of someone you could use to describe a person or a thing. Like if my phone is not able to call people or not able to connect to the internet, maybe I could say it's not fish, it's not meat.
All right. Well, I think we can make this right. This is right, I think.
Give me a half point.
Yeah, half. It's someone's opinion about a person or about a thing without any special skills, abilities, or characteristics.
Any substance. Yeah.
So,
I think my first, like, it's like when I use the meal time, like the 3 o'clock meal, there's no substance to that. Like it's not
special. Special.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Just missing that. It's not lunch. It's not dinner. So I think we can give me a point here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a point. It counts. Okay, it counts.
Yeah.
Well, listen. The situation would be, let's say, a company hired a really expensive worker,
Mhm.
and they expect some really big changes in their company thanks to this
Yeah.
guy. But eventually, his results are hit and miss. Yeah, and the head of the company decides to fire him, saying to his right hand, well, it's the right decision because he's neither fish nor meat. We'll find
Right.
a better specialist. So
Mhm.
not this, not that,
Yeah.
not certain.
Mhm.
Nothing special. You didn't tell me what you would use.
Right. Okay. So the one that kind of comes to mind is it or he or she or it. For example, he's not one thing or the other. You could say, yeah,
Not one thing or the other.
or the other. Yeah.
Друзья, Мартин меня настоятельно попросил рассказать вам о том, что у него есть 14-дневный бесплатный марафон для расширения словарного запаса. Ссылка есть в описании, обязательно переходите, если вам это интересно. The third Russian idiom is, it would be a phrase actually, so it's not just a saying. It's a phrase that people would quote
Okay.
when something happens. And it sounds like, oh, that's where the dog is buried.
That one's quite.
Is this a good one?
It's quite dramatic, that one, isn't it?
Right.
That's where the dog is buried. Like I just think of like finding something.
Or finding out.
Oh, finding out. Right. So that's.
And pay attention to the, oh, that's where the dog is buried. Oh.
So you gave me the clue with the finding out. So if you find out the reason for something, like why is this person selling it? Why is this person moving to another country? Like my friend, he's decided to move to Argentina. I don't know. And you thought, well, that's a bit strange. Why? And then I find out he's got a girlfriend there. I said, oh, that is where the dog is buried.
When you found out the reason.
Yeah.
Actually, it is right. That's the second point
Okay.
here. Yeah, it said when the main idea has been found out.
Okay.
When people understand the meaning, the essence of the situation. Okay, and what about this one?
So I'm not really sure if this is the one that I was going to say. The cat has been let out the bag, but it really that's used for like secrets, to let the cat out of the bag. So like he let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, like he revealed the secret. So it's not really maybe the reason for something, but that would always be a secret. So
it could be a secret in our situation.
Oh, okay, right. Well, if it was the secret, then that would work. That would work quite well. Well, the expression is actually to let the cat out of the bag. But you can, if I found out, I say, oh, the cat has been let out of the bag. I could say that, like changing the expression a bit, to say the secret has been revealed.
And what does it mean when you say, oh, it's in the bag? If I'm not mistaken, you also have the expression with the bag when you say, it's in the bag.
Oh, it's in the bag, yeah.
It means what?
So obviously anytime a football example comes to my head, that would be the most obvious one. So if you're winning like 3-0 with a couple of minutes to go, you say like it's in the bag.
It's
like
done.
it's done. Yeah.
Or
like a job interview, you come out of the job interview and you're like that, it's in the bag. Like it was so good, I did so well, they loved me. So yeah, like it's in the bag. Like that I don't. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I know they're going to call me and give me the job.
Yeah, I heard this one, and I hear this one on a daily basis when I play a video game. And the heroes in this video game, they say, "Oh, it's in the bag." When you predict your victory before the game, your hero says, "It's in the bag."
Right.
Or,
okay.
It's always been in the bag. Something like this.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like it's done. It's definitely gonna happen.
By the way, what do you think about learning a language on the platforms where it's not usually expected, like Well, films are the obvious ones. Films,
Mhm.
books, but what about video games? Because video games, AI, different things like this that
Mm.
come here in this era. What do you think?
I think they're all good. I think the number one, in fact, it's not what I think. It's been scientifically proven, and it's quite obvious. The number one thing, the most important thing on the list for learning a language is motivation. So if you are motivated, so motivation doesn't just mean like how motivated are you to open a book. It means how motivated are you to stay in contact with the language. So if you absolutely love books and you want to read books every day, brilliant. If you absolutely love YouTube and you want to spend all day watching YouTube videos, brilliant. If you want to spend all day, whatever is your motivation, and if it helps you stay in contact with the language, it's great. It will work because it's that. I read an interesting quote once saying, "You don't learn a language, you get used to it," which I thought was really good, because just like the more time you spend with it, the more you kind of get to know the language. It's like I've heard this kind of like metaphor with words. So like you meet someone, maybe you don't remember their name the first time you meet them. So the same as like you meet this new word and you can't remember the word. But if you see that person regularly, you will remember their name, and then even like get to know them, get to like them, which means so you remember the word now because you've seen the word many times. You've got to know the word, meaning you also now you know the grammar around the word. So is it like depend on, depend of, like you understand it. So it's just that, it's just spending lots of time with the language, getting to know the language. So if you spend lots of time on the language through AI, through YouTube, through films, or whatever it is, video games, whatever it is, it's good. Like 14 years I've been teaching English now. I've met people that speak really, really well from video games, from watching films, from watching YouTube, from all of these things, because they said like when they were kids, they would do this so much. And then when they got to like 20, they already had a good level. But from doing all different things, but just doing that thing a lot.
I also noticed this, that people come to me as students, they want to learn English with a person who knows Russian. So just in case to explain something in Russian. And I noticed that the kids, the children, they come from a really nice basement. And when I was asking how, they were saying I was just playing video games. And that's where they got the basement for learning some serious English. Let's talk about the next one. Number 4, Russian expression is to walk on the edge. I think it's really easy for you.
To walk on the edge. I have difficulty explaining this. I'm pretty sure I know. For example, I need to get a flight, and they always say, be there 3 hours before, get to the airport, and then it's only 1 hour before, and someone said, look, you need to go now, you're going to miss your flight. And you say, well, I walk on the edge.
Okay. And it means, if you rephrase that, it's doing what?
I live dangerously kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it's another point for you. It's to risk when doing something.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to fail. And the example with the airport is absolutely great, because the situation I came up with is pretty... when you invest all your money only in one project, expecting to become rich in a few months.
Yeah.
So someone would tell you, big balls, but you're walking on the edge. So being risky. Yeah, absolutely.
That one's... I've got 2 actually. The most direct translation is like living life on the edge. I live life on the edge. It's a very common thing to say, which I think is the best translation for this. But the one you said about like you invest all of your money in one thing, we say like don't put all your eggs in one basket.
I heard this one. This one. Yeah, too risky, right? If it fails, this basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Lose everything.
Yeah.
It's another point. You only missed one of them.
Okay.
Okay. Number 5. Друзья, вот такое вот вышло видео. Это не полная часть разговора, как вы видите, всего 4 фразы, но в общем я делал 10 фраз. Просто монтаж достаточно сложный, основная проблема именно с субтитрами, на это уходит действительно много времени. Именно поэтому я решил разбить видео на несколько частей. Если вижу, что по просмотрам, лайкам, комментариям вам все нравится, делаю вторую часть. И да, если вам что-то не понравилось, можете предлагать идеи по улучшению контента. С вами был репетитор Алекс. See you in the next video.